Hello out there, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the ever increasingly popular Empty Pockets podcast with Skip Healy. Today we're going to have part 2 of my interview with singer-songwriter Sami MOOR from Basel, Switzerland. A lot of people watched episode 1, so I hope you're all coming back again to check out episode 2. Some more great original compositions from Sami in this episode, especially his newest composition memorializing a very, very tragic event in the Orkney Islands in 1969. But there's a few laughs along the way, and we end up with a bit of a tribute to an old friend of both of ours. Great guy, great musician, also a great composer of American fife music in his own right, Mr. Roy Watrous. So let's get to part 2. Some more, Mr. Sami MOOR from Basel, Switzerland. Again, please subscribe if you like it. Help us out a little bit. Give us a couple of likes if you would. And if you want to kick a couple of coins into the CAPT, there's some nice alliteration for you. Just hit the Buy Me a Pint button. That'll bring you to the Buy Me a Coffee site. You're not hooked into anything doing at that point. Just go ahead and check it out. And if you'd like to help support what we're trying to get done here, it is much appreciated. Thanks to all the new subscribers. And here we go. Part 2 of Sami MOOR.
Barkeep, a man could die of thirst in this pub. Somebody buy me a pint, please.
So Sami, so far we just spent a little bit of time in Scotland now, but to get back to the kind of the underlying theme of today, and that's music of the sea. And we started off with a pretty light-hearted reminiscence of your childhood concerning being near the water. And we had a wonderful working song from you about the life of working fishermen. But there's also a lot of tragedy that occurs at sea. It's not only the fishermen and fisherwomen who are lost at sea, but sometimes the people who come to rescue them. And I think you have a new song in this vein.
Yes, I do. I finished it finally after almost 5 years that I was trying to figure this thing out. The whole thing started when I was in Orkney with a friend of mine, and we were on one of the Orkney Islands called Healy.
So we should say the Orkney Islands are located just off the
northeast of Scotland.
Notorious waters.
And if you go on in the same direction, you'll end up in Shetland. So yeah, Orkney. We were in Orkney on Healy, and there was this odd, to me, grey building with a round roof, and it had a ramp into the water, and there was a sign, Long Hope Lifeboat Museum. I was like, oh, let's go check this out. And so we did, and it turns out this odd building is actually the boathouse of the old lifeboat, of the Long Hope lifeboat. Long Hope is the body of water there in the south of, I don't remember exactly, but it's there. And there's pretty much always been a lifeboat there. And as we were looking around, there was a gentleman there in a onesie with a bucket of paint and a brush, and he was doing some work on the boat, retouching things up. And then he said, do you know about the Long Hope lifeboat, the story? And we said, no, we didn't even know this museum was here until just before. So this man tells us the story about what was it? It's in the song. 69, right, back in 69, doesn't really matter. But it was in 69, and there was a...
1969.
Yes, there was a Libyan ship, I think an oil tanker or whatever, that sent out a distress call. And the Long Hope lifeboat went out to sea to assist them. But they didn't, and it was an especially stormy night, and that was the so-called Pentland Firth, which is between Scotland and Orkney, I believe. I hope I don't get this wrong. And that is known as one of the most dangerous bodies of water in the world, because some currents are like Cape Horn, but up there.
Yes.
So they went out in a storm with enormous waves and didn't find the Libyan ship, the SS Irene. And later turned out that the coordinates that the captain gave them were not accurate, and they were looking for that ship in the wrong place, while the ship was just off the coast of mainland Orkney, I believe, not sure. And they were actually able to build a little cable thingamabob and rescue the whole crew. But while they were doing that, the Long Hope lifeboat was still out at sea looking for the boat. And they kept looking until they found it. And eventually they were capsized, and the next day the boat was found, and 7 of the 8 men were strapped in their chairs, but they were all drowned, and the 8th one was gone, not ever to be seen again. And there were a lot of details to that story, and that was a really impressive moment. You could feel how alive that story is in that community there. And I was really impressed. And as we were heading back to where we came from, I was thinking, there really should be a song about this. This is amazing song material. And I think this story should be told in a song. And I started Googling, and I didn't find anything. So I thought, well, I know a guy. So I decided I'll write that song. And the whole thing is really well documented, so there's lots of detail. And when you read an article about it, it's those details that bring the story to life. So I tried to get all these little details in, and it would have become a 2-hour song. So that's what I was struggling with for 4.5 years, and then eventually I realized the atmosphere and the feeling of the event. In a song, it comes from the music. It doesn't need all those details. And that's when I started to throw out all the details until I had a lyric left that worked and is not too long, but still has all the essential bits in it. And the music was all, I came up with this. I was experimenting on in the upper positions on the fret. And I came up with this little motif. And I thought, I think I can work with this. And that's how that song finally happened.
Amazing process.
It's that was a massive process.
All right, well, would you like to share this new creation with the world?
No, I'd rather not.
Oh, okay, well. And that's Sami MOOR, ladies.
Right, so let's do this.
Okay.
In the Orkney Islands, back in 1969, the ship, the SS Irene, faced a fearsome springtime gale. And boy, the lifeboat coxswain quickly summoned all his men to right the fiery Pentland Firth and answer Irene's call. Into the darkness and the roaring waves and squall. At home their anxious families waited by the radio. The lighthouse crews were looking for the lifeboat's stern light glow. Then at 8:30 the TGB sent out her final call. Here's to the 8 brave souls deadly firth once again sent sailors to their graves. Here's to the 8 brave souls who paid the price. The 8 brave souls who lost their lives when the ocean claimed their toll. When daylight came, the fleet of lifeboats searched the angry seas. Planes and choppers scoured the air for signs of TGV. 7 bodies were retrieved, still stuck tied to their chairs. The ocean kept the last one, as if to claim her share. Here's to the 8 brave souls who paid the price. The 8 brave souls who lost their lives when the ocean claimed their toll.
Wow.
And that's the story of the Longford lifeboat disaster.
Wow. Fitting tribute.
Thank you.
Wow. So we're covering a wide gamut of music about the sea. So far they've been original songs from you, but we've done our fair share of traditional
Oh, yes.
and lighthearted
Right.
seafare as well. How about a mood shift?
Good idea.
What do you got in mind?
Well, I especially like the way we always did the Mermaid,
Oh yeah,
where we go into. Well, we're not going to tell that.
into
before.
something else.
They'll see.
They'll
see what we do.
You'll feel it when we get there.
Right.
Take it away.
Right. That's how it goes. Was Friday morn when we set sail, and we were not far from the land. But our captain is playing, and Mermaid so fair, went home and the glass in her hand. But the ocean And that's that.
And that's that. And so that tune is called the Sailor's Hornpipe, well known around the world. We've kind of worked our way in a little circle cruise here. Because Sami was talking about how he was, as a 4-year-old, initially inspired by the music of the Ancient and the Swiss Mariners at a concert in Kaiser-Augst. The Sailor's Hornpipe is kind of the theme song of the aforementioned Ancient Mariners. And the Ancient Mariners were founded by a great man, a good friend of Sami and myself, named Roy Watrous. In American fife and drum music, at this time, so the late 1950s or so, there were basically groups that remembered the American Revolutionary War. They remembered the American Civil War, so there was kind of Minutemen and Civil War soldiers, but there was very little music of the sea in American fife and drum music. And Roy, having grown up in Stony Creek, Connecticut, which is right down on the water, got the brilliant idea of founding an American-style fife and drum corps built around music of the sea. And he took the name Ancient Mariners from the famous poem, The Ancient Mariner. So to square the circle here a little bit and give a little tribute to a great old friend of ours who passed away quite a few years ago at this point, we'd like to end up with one of his compositions. Roy was, for my money, the best modern composer of American fife and drum music. Loads and loads of cornerstone tunes in American fife and drum music, Drums and Guns and Crown Point, Clabbered Hill, Ike Bradley's Drum, on and on and on. But we're going to end up with a composition of his called The Black Pearl.